Welcome to New Sky TV. It was truly a shock. From obscure extras to the spotlight on the awards stage, Guo Yuxin and Liu Xiaoxu's names were etched into the audience's memory on the night of the 2025 China TV Drama Awards. When the lights came on, the music started, and the two walked side by side onto the stage. The applause erupted, and the flashbulbs were almost blinding. But if you rewind a few years, you'll find that this glory didn't come easily. In fact, every step was fraught with hardship. Before Summer of Fendra, they didn't know each other, and they had no luck of being chosen. Without financial backing or media attention, all they faced were round after round of auditions, being ignored, replaced, and dismissed with a wait and see. During their time as extras, the roles were nameless, the screen time was only a few seconds, but the emotions had to be fully prepared beforehand. The lines were few, but the performance had to be precise. Everyone knew that for actors like them to be seen, they could only rely on relentlessly honing their acting skills. This is precisely why, when Biking Li and Zhou Shengen actually appear on screen, the audience clearly feels that the characters are alive. It's not superficial emotional outbursts, but a clear trajectory of emotional growth. A pause in the gaze, a breath in silence, a restrained lean forward, all silently tell a story. That tension isn't built on technique, but on instinct honed through countless real-life experiences. The director once remarked backstage, "They brought out the character's arc." This statement, though not flowery, is extremely accurate. Because what this work truly achieves is not just character development, but a mutually beneficial acting relationship. Guo Yuxin's subtlety adds weight to Liu Xiaoxu's character. Liu Xiaoxu's steadiness, in turn, supports Guo Yuxin's emotional outbursts. The two elevate each other in their scenes together, rather than draining each other. That's why the audience is drawn in the recurring phrase "so amazing." In the comments section isn't idol worship, but a confirmation of being deeply moved. This is neither accidental nor lucky. This is an explosion triggered by the combined forces of narrative structure, dramatic dynamics, and the actor's long-term accumulation of experience. It's also a true story of two ordinary actors who, starting from the lowest possible point, chose to support each other, persevered all the way, and ultimately reached great heights. What's truly moving is precisely this: they weren't chosen by the times, yet they used time to force out their own shining moments. But those who truly understand know that time is the cruelest, yet fairest, judge. Popularity can be boosted, but it cannot replace the quality of the work in the long run. Trending topics can generate buzz, but they cannot cover up the emptiness in the performance. Guo Yuxin and Liu Xiaoxu are acutely aware of this. They understand all too well that becoming famous is just the beginning of being seen, not the end. Therefore, you'll find that their next step is not noisy. They didn't rush to consume the hype, nor did they use a persona to overshadow the characters. Instead, they refocused their energy on the performance itself. Repeated training in camera intimacy was to ensure that emotions could stand firm in close-ups. The study of editing rhythm and camera movement was to ensure that the performance served the narrative, rather than being led by the editing. They even review the footage after filming wraps, analyzing frame by frame where they went wrong and where they overdid it. This self-analysis is harder for actors than being criticized. Some skeptically question whether this is merely a temporary boon for short dramas or a sustainable artistic path. Honestly, I have no doubts. Because those who truly dedicate themselves leave their mark. They treat every scene like a live exam, every shot like an unrepeatable answer sheet. They don't rely on luck, nor do they expect the audience to just watch it. They know that if they slack off, the camera will expose them before anyone else. And the feedback from the audience and industry professionals is the most genuine response. Some comments are sharp and merciless, piercing the surface like knives. Others offer understanding and recognition in longer reviews, gently soothing hearts like warm water. This coexistence of sharpness and warmth perfectly illustrates one thing: their performances withstand discussion and deserve serious consideration. This isn't a fleeting moment of popularity, nor a manufactured miracle. These are the futures that two actors have earned step by step through professionalism, patience, and long-term commitment. From obscurity to the awards stage, this path has never been a linear narrative. It involves sweat and luck, but what truly determines altitude is the accumulation of skill and the stability of character. In a media interview, Guo Yuxin said, "Acting is about constantly asking yourself why. This isn't just a pretty statement, but a working method akin to self-examination. Why does this character pause? Why must the emotion be restrained at this moment? Why does not crying feel more painful? Every why pushes the performance further from the surface emotion to the depths of the character. Liu Xiaoxu's statement, "I want to be an actor who can be seen," sounds simple, but is extremely cruel. Being seen isn't about being pushed by trending topics, but about standing in front of the camera. Your presence itself cannot be cut. It's not about piling up presence through sound effects, filters, or lines, but about the audience knowing, this person has weight, the moment the character appears true or false. Time will answer. But at least at this stage, they haven't chosen to defend themselves, but to respond with their work. With restraint and focus on set, with silent accumulation of energy off stage, and with award acceptance on stage, they delivered the result. They made almost no superfluous pronouncements, yet through a series of highly polished performances, they presented a clear model to the short drama industry. Good actors don't work alone, and good partners don't drain each other. When acting and narrative resonate, when character relationships are taken seriously, the audience will naturally remember, without needing reminders. The lights will eventually dim, and the stage will return to emptiness. But the echoes of the collaboration won't immediately dissipate. They will linger in audience discussions and industry observations, reminding people that what's truly worth anticipating is never a fleeting moment of fame, but rather the person who can still stand tall when they step onto the stage again. More importantly, their emergence has prompted many to rethink the boundaries of short dramas. Once upon a time, this field was labeled fast-moving consumer goods, emotionally stimulating, and one-off traffic, demanding actors produce quickly, replicate rapidly, and be replaced quickly. But Guo Yuxin and Liu Xiaoxu chose a slower and more difficult path, maintaining character integrity, logical consistency, and a sense of purpose in delivering high-intensity productions. You'll find their performances devoid of any attempt to please the camera. Not every scene needs an outburst, not every line is overdone. They allow for blanks, hesitations, and less than ideal moments in their characters. This restraint is rare in the context of short dramas, making it all the more impactful. Viewers might not be able to pinpoint exactly what's so good, but one night, while watching a clip, they might suddenly stop and watch for a few more seconds. Those few seconds are the actor's value. The industry is also quietly changing. People are starting to mention character fit in casting meetings, not just data. Directors are giving actors more rehearsal time instead of rushing the process. These subtle changes may not all originate with them, but they are validated by them. Short dramas can indeed carry a long-term vision. Their relationship is equally intriguing. It's not a marketing ploy, nor is it about maintaining buzz through interaction. It's a tacit understanding built on professional trust. When acting together, they dare to give their emotions and relinquish their focus because they know the other can handle it. This sense of security comes from deliverables in each collaboration, not just verbal promises. And that's why people start to look forward to the next time. Not for greater hype, but for more complex characters, more challenging relationships, and more mature expressions. They expect them to continue to dissect themselves in new stories, rather than repeating themselves. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.